everyone. Shelly here with Align My Practice. Welcome to another Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you're all having a great summer, wonderful August. And yes, I do look different. And yes, I decided to cut bangs. It's been 6 years. I think the last time I had bangs was during COVID and they never came back. So I got a wild hair and here I am. Anyway, so happy to be back, and I hope that you're all having a great summer. And I'm off to another new series for Wisdom Wednesdays. Um, and this one is really going to be about team accountability. I've had a lot of new clients reach out to me, new doctors or practice managers, and they're either wanting to implement new systems or new technology or new treatment services. And the team accountability piece has been a little challenging. And I feel like this is a pretty common struggle within practices across the country. And so I figured I would do a little 4-week series on how to improve team accountability and some good tips and systems to put in place to ensure that your team is held accountable and that they have the same mission and vision for your practice that you do. Having a structured interview process is really important. So I want to make sure that you have standardized interview questions that you give to everybody that interviews to be a part of your team, regardless of what that role is. I also really like panel interviews. So I like involving all my key people within the practice. So kind of like a round robin, so they get to meet everybody. You're going to get everybody's take. So I would normally have like my clinical lead, my lead from my front desk, or my TC, the doctor, and the office manager. But I think at least 3 people is really important. And I want to make sure that you do some sort of a skills assessment at that interview. This isn't necessarily booking them for a full day working interview, but it's just the basic skills that you require for this role. So let's say for a clinical role, you can bring a typodont into the consultation room wherever you're having this interview, and maybe have them show you how they engage wires. How do you clip a pokey wire? How do you fit bands? Maybe if this is for a financial role, you can present them with some patient details, primary, secondary insurance. This is our fee. How do you calculate what the patient's portion is? We have a minimum initial payment of $800. How would you present that to the patient? So I think doing things like that, you don't have to book them for an entire day, but you can definitely gather their ability to have potential in this role. And then the second part of that is to do effective reference checks. So I feel kind of pooled on this because in my experience, normally if you're going to put references down on your resume, you've already talked with those people and you know that those references are going to give you a glorified recommendation. So I still think that you should do that. Go ahead and do your due diligence and do your reference checks. But what I really want you to do is I want you to have conversations with the applicant about their resume specifically. Talk about each of the roles. Find out why they're not there anymore. Why did they leave? What did they love about that job? What did they not love about the job? What were their duties with that job? If there were gaps in their employment, ask them why they didn't work for a year and a half. Those things are going to let you know a little bit more also to make sure that their values align with your values. They may let you know that, gosh, you know what? I left that office because I wasn't trained properly, or I kept getting in arguments with the office manager. There's things that you can pick up on, and you're going to know if maybe this person's values align with your practice's value. And making sure too that they're like a good culture fit for you, I think is super important. And so asking those questions, I think, is very effective, and doing that in that round robin, kind of that panel interview, I think is great. I also really love group interviews. I'll save that for another Wisdom Wednesday, but I like bringing multiple candidates in at one time. It's very efficient and has been very successful for me. But anyway, that's about it as far as those topics. So I hope that you enjoyed today's Wisdom Wednesday. Next week, we're going to be talking about successful onboarding, which is incredibly important to retain your team members. But I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next week.